Today, we're covering Superior Vena Cava Syndrome, often called SVC syndrome. This is a serious condition caused by an obstruction of blood flow in the superior vena cava. So let's start with a clear definition of what's happening. At its core, SVC syndrome is a blockage in that major vein. The superior vena cava is what returns deoxygenated blood from the head, neck, arms, and upper chest back to the heart. When it's obstructed, venous pressure goes up and you get congestion in all those areas.
Okay, so what exactly is causing this blockage?
The causes really fall into two main categories: malignant and non-malignant. Most cases are from malignancy, typically a tumor like small cell lung cancer or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma that's either pressing on or growing into the vein. We are, however, seeing more non-malignant causes, often from thrombosis related to intravascular devices like central venous catheters or pacemaker leads.
So how does this obstruction present in a patient?
The clinical signs are a direct result of that venous pressure buildup. Patients often present with swelling in the face or arms, and they'll complain of shortness of breath. On physical exam, you might see that classic venous distention in the neck and chest wall, which is the body's attempt to form collateral circulation. Headaches are also common, and they're typically worse when the patient bends forward or lies down. A useful bedside test is Pemberton's maneuver. You have the patient raise both arms above their head. This crowds the thoracic inlet, which can further compress an already partially blocked SVC. If the test is positive, you'll see the patient's face become flushed, maybe even bluish, and you might see their jugular veins distend. Once you suspect SVC syndrome, the next step is to confirm it. A chest X-ray is often the first imaging you'll get. You're looking for signs like a widened mediasternum, which could suggest a mass, but it's important to know that a normal chest X-ray does not rule out the syndrome. The standard for diagnosis is a contrast-enhanced computed tomography or CT scan. It's what confirms the diagnosis, shows the level and extent of the blockage, identifies collateral vessels, and in many cases can even show you the underlying cause. It's absolutely essential for planning treatment. To get a definitive cause, especially when you suspect cancer, you'll need a tissue diagnosis. This could mean moving to more invasive procedures like a transbronchial needle aspiration or a mediastinoscopy. Treatment is two-pronged. You want to relieve symptoms and then address the root cause. Initial management often includes supportive care, like elevating the head of the bed. We often use glucocorticoids to reduce any inflammation from a tumor. For severe symptoms, an endovascular stent can provide the quickest relief by physically reopening the vessel. Then, definitive treatment, like radiation or chemotherapy, can be directed at the underlying malignancy. And here is a very important clinical point. Avoid intravenous or IV access in the upper limbs. If you administer fluids through the arms, you can actually worsen the venous congestion and swelling because the fluid has no easy path back to the heart. So with treatment started, what's the prognosis for these patients? The median survival is about 2.5 years. Now, this outcome isn't really determined by the venous obstruction itself. It's driven by the aggressive nature of the underlying cancer that's present in most cases. Essentially, the syndrome itself often serves as an indicator of a serious and frequently late-stage underlying disease. That wraps up our clinical overview. The challenging prognosis really highlights a key question for all of us. How can we, in our own practices, improve earlier recognition of the subtle signs of SVC syndrome to potentially improve patient outcomes?